Croatia and Portugal faced each other in their last match of UEFA Nations League. Portugal won the match 3-2 and finished second in the group, while Croatia finished third, making sure they weren't relegated to the League B of the UEFA Nations League. Let's start with the formation both the teams used in this match. Portugal went with a simple 4-3-3 system, whereas Croatia decided to go with a 4-3-1-2 system. Now, let's take a look at the key players of the match. Luka Modric had a pass accuracy of 85.3%. Along with that, he made 2 clearances and 2 interceptions in the match. He was very crucial to the attacking build-ups of the play also. Semedo played a crucial role in the Portuguese team. He had a passing accuracy of 82.1%, 2 interceptions and 4 tackles. Kovacic was a standout performer in the Croatian team. His passing accuracy was 84.3% and his 2 goals kept his team in the game till the last moment. For the Portuguese team, Ruben Dias was a standout performer. His first goal helped Portugal equalize in the second half, and his second goal helped Portugal win the match in the 89th minute. Let's take a look at how Croatia attacked. When building from the back, Modric and Kovacic would move towards the wing, allowing Bradaric and Juranovic to move up on the field. After receiving the ball, Modric passes the ball to Juranovic, who proceeds to dribble it up the field. As this attack reaches the final third, Vlasic will now make a run behind Mario Rui, taking Ruben Dias with him, which will force Pereira to move into the back four to complete any gaps left behind by Ruben Dias. This movement gives Juranovic enough space to make a pass inside to Pasalic or cross the ball inside the D box. Now let's take a look at how Croatia defended. Whenever Portugal tried building from the back, the front three and the midfield three of Croatia formed an irregular hexagon that prevented any pass to the midfielders of Portugal. And with no option in the midfield, the centre backs would then pass the ball to fullbacks Mario Rui or Semedo. As soon as the ball was passed to one of the fullbacks, the space around him was quickly suffocated by 3 or 4 Croatian players. As we see in the illustration, 3 Croatian players quickly surround Mario Rui as he receives the ball, and also each of the player in the midfield is man marked by 1 Croatian player. This forces Mario Rui to play the ball back to his centre back as he has no possible option for a pass in the midfield or in the attack. Moving on, now let's take a look at how Portugal attacked. To counter Croatia's irregular hexagon, Pereira moved between the centre backs to make a back three. With the back three, Portugal had enough time and space to play any kind of pass they wanted onto the midfielders or to the attackers. To prevent this from happening, Pasalic then pressed the ball carrier, leaving space behind him. As seen in the illustration, Bruno Fernandes quickly moves into this spot, taking Kovacic with him. To fill the gap left by Kovacic, Perisic then moves back into the midfield. Bruno Fernandes comes in to help Ruben Semedo as he receives the ball from Pereira. Now one of the Portuguese attackers comes in the midfield to receive the ball from Ruben Semedo and create an option for him, as Jota does in the illustration. To prevent this from happening, Perisic quickly moves on to the empty space covering Jota, but leaves acres of space on the right wing for Semedo to run into. Ruben Semedo then passes the ball to Nelson Semedo, who has now time and space to play a good pass into the Croatian D. Let's take a look at how Portugal defended. As seen in the illustration, when Portugal found themselves without the ball in their own half, they decided to go for a 4-1-4-1 formation with Pereira in between the midfield and the defense lines to pick up any stray runner or a pass. Now, one man from the front four would press the ball carrier so the ball is forced backward into the Croatian half. Now, as soon as the ball was back in the Croatian half, Portugal quickly shifted to a 4-4-2 defensive structure. So with that, my analysis of the match between Portugal and Croatia comes to an end. Let me know in the comments if you think I missed some important tactic in the match. Also, let me know in the comments if you want me to analyze any upcoming match in any competition. Thank you for watching the video. If you really liked what you saw in the video, please like and share it with your friends.